Hello everyone, my name is Nicole Fegan, and it's officially summer. It's summer, I have silver hair for like one more week, and I'm in a new apartment, so I might be testing out some filming locations. But that's really relevant for today, because I believe in listening to music at the right time. Obviously, like, good music is gonna sound good whenever, but certain albums just like hit different if you're listening to them in the rain, in the cold, or in summer. So I did a video like this for springtime, and I'm doing one again for summer, and probably will do one for autumn and for winter. And these are my top 10 albums to listen to in the summertime. I firmly believe there are kind of two types of summer albums. There's kind of the traditional stuff that we think of, which is like full of life, kind of poppy, stuff you're gonna listen to when it's sunny out, and maybe you're driving to the beach or you're at the beach, and stuff that just feels like so vibrant. And we'll get to that, but probably the stuff that I associate with summer even more is stuff that feels like the density of the heat, that feels sticky and feels hazy. It feels like it's like 100 degrees out and the humidity is 100%. I actually have more from that first category in this video, but we're gonna start with the three albums that I think really just personify like the summer heat. Feels like you're in the thick of it. So up first we have Stratosphere by Duster. This is a lo-fi space rock album.
Hi everyone. Stratosphere is literally a slowcore album, which is a word I forgot just the entire video. In fact, you'll notice me kind of stumble over my words trying to think of how to describe this album. That's because it's a slowcore album, which is defined by lower tempo melodies and obviously slower vibes. So yeah, if you're looking to listen to this album and are like, wow, space rock doesn't really seem right, that's because it's mostly a slowcore album. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the rest of the video.
That is, first off, just one of my favorite albums of all time. It's one of a few albums I have on vinyl. And this really is just so hazy. It's one of those albums where kind of every song sounds the same, but not in a way that ever gets boring, just because it feels so dense. Kind of, everything feels soupy. It just melds into itself, and it feels like your windows are down and you're trying to get some relief from the oppressive humidity, and you can't. And I think because it's so successful at creating this atmosphere, plus just the music is very good. I don't know, it's probably my favorite space rock album of all time. It's not spacey, but that's just the genre. But I don't know, it is amazing. There's certain songs from that album. Well, are there even certain songs from that album that I love? Sorry, I'm recontextualizing my love of Stratosphere by Duster. I think I love it for how it feels. It's one of those albums that, yeah, I don't really pick out a song to listen to. I go to listen to Stratosphere and I listen to the whole thing, and I recommend you do too. On the next day where it feels like the heat is beating your ass. Another album that I think fits into this category is Loveless by My Bloody Valentine. This is one of the big three shoegaze albums, maybe even the biggest at this point, just culturally. And this also is so noisy in all the right ways. I think what Loveless has going for it is it kind of has this very warm tinge, and I don't mean almost in atmosphere weather. I mean there are certain songs on this that the density of it feels kind of like being in love, or the album cover is bright pink, and I feel like that's very apt because it feels happy in a way. Maybe not happy, but it's saccharine. It's very not sugary sweet, but very densely sweet and fudgy and not sludgy, but I'm really bad descriptions going on in this video so far, but it just feels amazing and so tight. Anyways, I think shoegaze is great for summer because shoegaze as a genre is, again, kind of very soupy and wall of soundy, and I think this album kind of exemplifies that. My last album for this category is And Then Nothing Turned Itself Inside Out by Yolo Tango, and this specifically to me is a very summer night album. I've seen this pegged as an autumn album too, and I think that kind of speaks to the fact that there is a coolness to it. I can definitely see it being listened to in autumn. It might be kind of like a September album, if you will, but it has the atmosphere of it's still warm out, but it's night, and you can kind of hear the bugs, and you're sitting on your porch. That might be because of the album cover. I think a lot of times album covers actually really greatly impact how we experience albums, and so the street light in this just gives this feeling of a suburban summer night. I don't think I described the genre of this album. This is a dream pop indie rock album, and yeah, it's very consistent. It's not my favorite Yolo Tango album, but I think it's like light, warm haziness is just very, very good for a summer night. And now moving on to the albums that I want to listen to at the beach, on the way to the beach, in a field. What are other good summer activities? I don't know, you're outside for these, you're having a good time, you're feeling the excitement of it being summer. And to start off, we have Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. This is one of those albums that has been popular in the past few years that I am so on board for. This is like a country pop, contemporary country album. You've probably heard of Casey Musgraves. She is such a big deal. And if you haven't checked this out, I would really, really recommend it. First off, I know country in general gets a bad rep among certain music circles, and I understand because a lot of contemporary country is just about like, let me go get my beers and my boys, whatever, whatever, whatever. But first off, the lyrical content of this is wonderful. There are some great songs about love and about heartbreak, and I think it's just a very well constructed album. And second, again, like look at the, I don't know if I'm gonna have the album over here, but like the colors of this album really evoke how it feels. It's bright blue, it's very open, it's very windows down in the car, and I just think it's really good, and I think also gets me excited to explore more of the genre, because I was one of those like 10-year-olds who was like, I like all music except country and rap, and have since being an adulthood have deconstructed that, but really amazing album, amazing for summer. Another one I'm going to kind of loop in with that is Emotion by Carly Rae Jepson. Carly Rae Jepson, pop queen, maybe like my favorite current pop artist. So yeah, this is a pop album, like a dance pop, electro pop album, and I think what is so great about this is I think it's kind of versatile between daytime and nighttime. It might even be like a summer night album too, but in a very different way. This is kind of more like you're driving with your friends as opposed to sitting on the porch. This album is just so full of life and so full of love. It is great pop music, and it really does have kind of like that neon tinge. Like songs like, I don't know, Making the Most of the Night, or Your Type, or I mean, Run Away With Me. They feel so full of this like color, this like pop of color that makes you want to get out there and go driving or something like that. It's just like really good, and yeah, it's full of that vibrancy and excitement about it being summer. Up next we have Since I Left You by the Avalanches, and now this is a plunderphonics album, which for those of you who don't know, that's basically like taking samples and making music out of it. It's like pure production. And the samples on this just create this very fun and almost tropical atmosphere that I think is so perfect for summer. Songs like the title track or Close to You just like have this beat, this driving force that is so like motivating, and again, it has like a lot of the songs have this kind of tropical tinge that they add with just like the instrumentation that they get through all the sampling, and it is just like such a feel-good album. It also is very much like a dance album. A lot of the stuff they sample, again, like has this beat that makes you kind of want to get moving. So this is one I would add. I mean, I recommend checking out all of these, but I feel like this is one of the, I don't know, more niche ones of this video. So go check it out for a good time. Up next we have Ataboa de Esmeralda by Jorge Ben. And this is an MPB album, which is popular Brazilian music. I'm gonna be completely honest, my personal knowledge of Brazilian music is very limited. I've heard a couple Jorge Ben albums. I've listened to one, what is that called? I listened to this one album called Clube de Esquina a couple weeks ago, so like this is not something I have a huge knowledge base about. But I know that it feels amazing. Whatever the particular guitar technique is just so summery and again very tropical. It doesn't quite, it feels sort of like you're at the beach, or just very much feels like you're outside, kind of feels like someone is serenading you, and it is so full of like this sunshine and this like love of being alive. In fact, this might be the album on this list that I feel like is the happiest to exist. His vocals and again just like the guitar, it creates this vibe or this atmosphere that like just makes me want to be outside. It's amazing. Next we have Skylarking by XTC, and this is a psychedelic pop album that in its psychedelia evokes summer. I think some psychedelic music kind of evokes like being in your basement and doing acid, but this one has this like such this open atmosphere that feels like the colors are all moving in front of you. You want to be on the grass or on the beach, and it is just like so so summery. Obviously that's the point of this video, but like it really feels like it's drenching with summer love. It's very pastoral. I'm sure it would sound amazing on drugs. It's not quite as like upbeat as some of the other ones, but I think it is mellow summer. It is like not quite as hazy and dense as some of the ones in the first section, but like, yeah, just like light, and I said pastoral already, but I'm gonna say it again, and very, very good for probably like having a picnic chilling out on the grass in the park. My next pick I feel like is slightly different, completely different in tone, and that is Summer Months by Joao de Vivre. This is an emo EP. It is very unknown. I feel like my small circle of friends somehow knows about this, but like I've seen no one else ever talk about it. And emo I know is a big thing for people in summer and autumn. I feel like when I eventually make an autumn albums recommendation, it's gonna be like 8 out of 10 of the albums are gonna be emo, but obviously given the title of this and I feel like the feeling of the songs, this would be my emo pick for summer. This is a great album for if you're heartbroken in summer, or if you're pining or yearning in summer, if you're in suburbia in summer, which I mean all emo is great for suburbia. I just feel like this one has this summer loneliness to it that is great for summer loneliness. I should have used different adjectives first. All the songs I feel like are individually very punchy, which creates this like short, compact EP of just like emotional punch in the gut. So if you're looking for some emo to either take your mind off of things or wallow in things this summer, this would be my recommendation for you. And my final recommendation, and I don't even know if this is the summariest or why I put this last, but finally we have Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. No album in the world maybe quite feels like the driving beat of being alive in spite of hardship quite like this album. I mean, you've got Born to Run, you've got Jungleland, you've got Thunder Road. I talk about car albums all the time because I feel like I listen to a lot of music in the car, but this one really, if you're on a road trip, if you're driving to see someone, if you're like driving 2 hours to go get Raising Cane's chicken, which is what I'm doing next week, Born to Run is the album for you. Springsteen is an amazing lyricist. He is a great storyteller, and so I feel like it's easy to get lost in these songs, and then as that's happening you then get like the world's most life-changing saxophone solo, and you're just like, wow, look at the sunset, look at this song, I'm so glad to be alive. Finally, I want to give some shout-outs to some of my favorite summer songs. I've got Spotify open, so pardon the phone. We have That Summer Feelin' by Jonathan Richman. That's about nostalgia for summer. Also great to listen to in summer. Heartbreaking, incredible song. We've got Summertime, the classic Gershwin. Last summer I had this obsession with Sidney Bechet's version. He does it on, I think it's called like a classical, a soprano clarinet. Sounds like a trumpet but isn't a trumpet. So swanky, so delicious. And then you have Billy Stewart's version, which is so much more upbeat, so full of life. And then I recently got into Billie Holiday's version, which again is kind of swanky, but you have the vocals. Summertime, you can't go wrong with any single version of that. And then recently I listened to Once Upon a Summertime by Blossom Dearie, who is a vocal jazz artist, and that song just completely blew me away. I listened to it like 3 times the night I listened to that album. Another honorable mention, I have not heard this album, but Charmed by, I believe, DJ Sabrina, the Teenage DJ? That is an album that, I wanted to make sure I got all the details right. It is DJ Sabrina, the Teenage DJ, and this is like a house plunderphonics album that I have seen described as kind of like an ode to the pool parties we didn't get to have last year. It was released in November of 2020. It's like a 3 hours long album of songs that feel like you're at perhaps a pool party in like the early 2000s. I've heard a few songs from it that have come on in the car with my boyfriend, and it sounds amazing. So if you're looking for like a very immersive thing, I can't personally recommend it because I haven't heard the whole thing, but it's definitely worth checking out. So those are my summer album recommendations. If you like any of these, let me know. If you listen to any of these and like them, please let me know. What do you listen to in summer? I love album recommendations, and I recently finished a massive re-listening project, which means I'm finally listening to new music again, so I can listen to music recommendations again. I like wasn't listening to anything new for basically a whole year. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys in the next one.